So Anam, aloha everyone. Welcome to the live stream. If you can put where your name and where you're logging in from. And also somebody mentioned the other day, which I think is a great idea, if you know your human design type and your profile, to put that down so you can link up, especially if you have the same type and same profile, then you two have a lot in common. Okay, if you know it, and if you don't, go down to the information box. I usually have the free chart link, jovianarchive.com, and you don't have to leave your email. There's no strings attached. You just get your free chart, and it's a good idea to have on hand, especially if you're watching my live streams on Saturdays, because I'm going more deeply into human design stuff. Okay, so let's share my screen here. There we go. And just get this out of the way. There we go. So I'm sure you're feeling the energy. Since last weekend, the train is out of the station and it's chugging along, and it's just going to get faster and faster as we go into the rest of this year. So it's time to get on board. There's still some time, when the train's leaving slow to run and catch up and jump on. But I'm sure if you're watching my channel, you're already on board. Okay, so this is for the full moon. This live stream's for the full moon with a focus more on human design. I'll do another live stream probably on Tuesday or Wednesday, and that will be more of the astrology with the 12 signs, and of course human design, because that's the system that I use, right? And then the other announcement is I still have my 50% off recorded readings, which is great because it's all about becoming your authentic self for the Aquarian age. There's no room for inauthenticity for the Aquarian age. It just won't work. And this helps with the deconditioning process. That means the letting go of everything that's not you. And it goes to the frequency, like frequency. It's not just beliefs, right, that you're letting go of in your past and all that other stuff. It's like a frequency that you have to let go of, because we're born into this frequency of inauthenticity. It's pulling us away from our authentic self. So this works at the cellular level, right? What your body needs, to work optimally for you, according to your human design chart, the right environment for you, how your brain works, what you're supposed to see, how to make your decisions based on your aura type, which we talk about today, but it goes more into depth, right, the video. And then, of course, a meditation, a Kundalini Yoga meditation to help that. So here's the full moon chart, according to human design, the exact time of the full moon. So the sun here is in the 4, and that's coming off the ajna. You can see that. That's the ajna. The top is the crown chakra, and then the ajna, which is your personal mind. And so the 4 is the shadow of intolerance, and it's the gift of forgiveness, right? Understanding is the gift, and then forgiveness is the siddhi. So that's going to be a theme for this full moon, and you might be in that now. And again, this is something else that we have to do, is to forgive, right? To forgive others that we perceived as harming us. And I'm not saying that it isn't true. We're harmed. People get harmed for sure. We all do, and hurt and betrayed and have our hearts broken. But again, we can't take these grudges into the Aquarian age. So this is a theme of forgiveness, right? And you'll notice that understanding comes before forgiveness. And that's so true. And we have to understand, right? With it's not making concessions for the person that hurt us, but it's understanding means that you're taking an elevated view of what happened, because there's karma, and karma we don't know. A lot of us don't remember most people don't remember their past lives, right? And what happened in the past life. And it just could be some karma payback. And Karma will give you that sense of understanding that nobody gets away with anything on this planet. Everything is encoded, every action, deed, thought into the Akashic records, right? So it's not your job to be punishing, right, other people for their wrongdoing. The divine will take care of all of that, right? So bringing in this, and this is such a gift for the world, right? And forgiving yourself, right? This is probably the most important aspect, is to forgive yourself. And that's a great gift that you can give to humanity, because when you forgive yourself, you're loving yourself unconditionally, and then you're sending that, right, frequency out into the world. And when you forgive yourself, you're really forgiving the world, right? Because the world is a reflection of the state of our consciousness as a humanity. So I would do that. And I've got a forgiveness meditation, I think, on my YouTube channel. Yeah, I got to put that on my to-do list too, is to get that forgiveness meditation on my website. That's very, very powerful. It's a Kundalini yoga meditation and then a guided meditation by me. I'm pretty sure I have that. And then we've got the earth, right? And then the earth and the moon are both in the 49.1 there. So that's the programming partner of the 4. And that's down there where all the action is. That's your solar plexus. This is going through the big mutation. This is the home of your emotions. And this is the shadow of reaction. I talked about this in the Go to My Saturn video. Through the signs, I talk a lot about the 49 to learn more about it. So it's the shadow of reaction. It's the gift of revolution, and it's the city of rebirth, right? And that's in the full moon position, and it's 0.1, so it's taken place deep inside each person, right? Just because it's the first line. And so this is what I wanted to focus on today, was talk about emotional triggers. But also, let's just quickly take a boo up here, and you can see that the throat chakra, that brown shape, and then the G center, love and direction, center of love and direction, they join up. The 8, right? The 8 is in Mars, and then the 1 is in the self node, right? So that makes a channel, and that's what gives definition. So this means this is the transit. So you may have this in your chart. I have this channel myself, this 1-8. It's a leadership channel, and it's the channel of the creative role model. So a creative role model is if somebody has this 1-8 and they're this accomplished musician, maybe they're a pianist and they're playing, right? They're having their concert, and a little kid in the audience won't be worshiping like, oh, what an amazing musician and artist, and puts them on a pedestal. Someone with the 1-8 empowers, would empower that child to like, I want to learn an instrument. I want to play a musical instrument. And then they would go home and start to practice. So that's what a creative role model does, just by example, just by being themselves, right? Because the 8 is all about authenticity, and the 1 is about creativity. So this is showing us again to become like, the echo is so loud from the skies, right? In these transit programs, and from our intuition, that it's time to be yourself, right? It's time to be yourself. And this says it's about making a contribution to the collective, right? Like I talked about in my last few videos, it's really about the long-term view now, right? It's about shifting our language from me to we, right? So this is how you have to start to think. You can't be thinking little and narrow. How am I going to survive? How is my family going to survive? And then I just do whatever I need to do according to, our friend. Well, not our friend, our foe, right? Worm tongue, right here, listening to his advice, right, on what to do. Now it's time to expand, right? It's time to expand during this time in the Aquarian age and be looking to 2027. We've got to get to 2027, right? That's when the big mutation happens. But beyond that. So how do I serve humanity with my gifts and talents? That's your big question to ask yourself right now. And your intuition will come through for you, right? To give you your answer. Or maybe you know your gifts and talents. These are the next batch of recorded readings that I'm working on, is really give people a focus. Like, here's your main gifts, here's your main talents. This is the quality that you have to bring to your contribution, right? And I'm hoping those will be ready by September. We'll see, right? But maybe you already know your gifts and talents. Then it's like, how do I interface that with the needs of the collective? How is this going to further the evolution of the collective on? It doesn't have to be this big, huge, lofty thing. It could be really small, right? Seemingly really small. But it's like we're all doing our part. Remember, it's the collective leading the collective now. You know, that's how the Aquarian age is working. That's why this whole centralized power, that's what they want, this one world government, it's not going to fly, because it's the Aquarian age is the collective leading the collective. There's no centralized power. It's decentralized. So we'll see how that's going to all work out, right? How that's going to take form. Okay, so that's going on in the full moon. And then let's look at this 49 more closely. And so I wanted to remind people, okay, what's going on here in the world. And so we're moving, our awareness system is evolving. We're evolving into a whole new species. Doesn't mean everybody's going to be along on the train ride for this. Clearly, we're seeing that, right? This real rift in humanity. And humanity, they're making their decisions right now. So, according to the chart, right, here's the chart. So, physical awareness, that's our most ancient awareness system. That's still there, right? And it's based on survival, right? It's all based on keeping the species alive, keeping this body alive. And then we evolved into a mental awareness system, and that's where we are right now. So experiencing life through the mind, right? And so this served us, but we've taken the mind as far as it can go now. It's like a child when when you're learning to ride a bike and you got the training wheels on back. There comes a point where the training wheels actually become dangerous for you, right? You got to take the training wheels off, and then you got to ride with just the two wheels. Well, the mind is like this. We've taken the mind as far as it can go, and now it's actually becoming a danger to rely on your mind right now to make your decisions, right? To make your decisions. So this creates confusion, doubt, duality, this or that, this back and forth, right? Separation, keeping us in the illusion of separation. That's what the mind does. Ego keeps us in the ego, and then paralysis. So you're trying to make a decision, and it's the back and forth. Do you know this? The back and forth. What if this happened? What if that? No, I'm going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. The back and forth creates a lot of stress and anxiety. And anxiety is fear of the future. What's going to happen to me in the future? And depression is the feeling guilty about the past. I'm going to make the same mistakes that I made in the past. And this is all about me, the mental awareness system. And now we're evolving. This is where we're being called to go, right? Through the solar plexus mutation, right? This emotional awareness. So the emotional awareness goes to the solar plexus mutation. This is mutating, and then which means the wave, our emotional wave, is going to come to a still point, and then it brings us into spirit awareness, right? So this is where we have unity, unconditional love, peace, harmony, we, no me. Heart-based living. It's the experience, because up here is the mental awareness system. Oh yeah, we're all one. Spiritual new agey people say, oh yeah, we're all connected. He's my brother, she's my sister, yap. This is the actual experience of that. This is what the solar plexus mutation is going to give us, the experience of that. But first, back to the emotional awareness, we've got to go through this purification process. And this is the emotional body develops from 0 to 7 years old. That's where all these stuck emotions are. They come from that age group right there, 0 to 7. And this is the stuck emotions that need integration plus shadow, right? Shadow work. That's the work, right? Is purifying these stuck emotions, integrating them, which means feeling them. And then your shadow work, like stop projecting your shadow onto other people. It's yours. It's time to own it, right? So this is the work that we do. And to get there, right, to the spirit awareness on the other side, right? On the other side is the spirit awareness and unity and happiness and peace and everything that we came here to do on this planet, is to have this, to help transition, help humanity transition into the spirit awareness and have this experience ourselves, right? There's only one way there, and that's through the emotional body. There's no other way. So don't believe any teachers that are telling you that there's another way. Here, this is the work. It's the emotional body. And it's echoed through many paths. It's not just human design, right? Evolutionary astrology talks about this. Kundalini yoga meditation talk about this. That this is where the action is, moving through the emotional body. And that's the tunnel we have to move through. And we got to listen, we got to leave the ego behind. We got to leave the ego behind. The ego can't come through this tunnel, but the ego will do everything, every little sneaky trick it can do to keep you from walking through that tunnel and doing this emotional body work, right? And shadow work. But there's what's on the other side, the spirit awareness, right? So, what were that? Yeah, and there's where we go, right? With spirit awareness, the heart chakra opens, right? The heart chakra opens, and this is where our intelligence is, our real intelligence. It's so much more vast, right, than our brain and our mind and our ego. It's a huge expansion. Our authenticity is there. This unity consciousness that we're moving into is there. Your intuition is there. You know, intuition is not here. This is very limited. As soon as you're here, you're shut off from your intuition. Your intuition can't get through. It's like if you're in a room and the TV is blaring, right? And maybe there's a little radio in the background. You can't hear that little radio. All you can hear is the TV. That's what the ego is like when you're in this state of consciousness. So intuition is there too, right? So I want to break down an emotional trigger. So an emotional trigger is what this is about. Okay, so emotional trigger is when that emotional body gets poked, gets provoked, right? Gets poked and stirred up inside you. And what was I going to say about that? Okay, so if we go here. So say a new opportunity is coming to you, because this time is really about change. So I wanted to focus on change. We have to change. We have to change, right? We have to change. And it's not about changing things out here. Well, I'm just going to go change my job, or I'm going to go and change where I live, we have to go inside. That's the real change. If you try to do this, control the external and make changes that way, it won't last, right? Everything will rearrange and it will be the same. That's why we get stuck in these patterns, these like loops over and over and over again, because we're not going to the root, right? The source of what needs to be changed. And that's to go inside and change these patterns, these emotional patterns, right? So an opportunity comes to you and it's really good, right? An opportunity is coming to you because the universe is generous in showing us where we need to change and where we need to grow and where we need to evolve. Well, then the ego steps in, right? So the ego, Mr. Wormtongue, he represents the ego in my world. And this is that voice in your head that you think is you, that you believe is you. It's been with you since you were a child. That voice says, oh, that's bad. That's bad. There's something up with that. It's wrong. It's dangerous. It's uncomfortable. It's making you uncomfortable because your emotional body's got stirred up, right? It's harmful. It's that person's lying to you. They're evil. Something's off about this. It's all about keeping you from going in there, right? This is just one of many, many tricks of the ego, right? All these tricks to keep you away from your power. So what it does is persuades you. You can see this on mainstream news, right? What they do with people that are speaking the truth. Oh, they're conspiracy theory. Oh, they're racist. They're misogynist, right? It's anything to keep you and people from going through there to the truth. Spirit awareness is the truth. We see it right in mainstream news, right? Wormtongue is right in there on the TV box, on the screen. He's everywhere. So persuades you to feel fear, right? Oh, maybe my ego's right, and you think it's you, right? Maybe the ego's right. I should feel fear. I should doubt myself, even though your intuition's screaming at the top of its lungs that this is good for you and go for it, right? But in comes Wormtongue and the ego to get you off the scent, right? Throws the rock in the bush. Look over there. To distract you. And it creates fear, creates doubt in you. So you're doubting your higher self, you're doubting your intuition. It creates confusion, this back and forth that I talked about, right? About this new opportunity. So what do most people do? They run back like little scared bunnies, like a little scared bunny. They run back to the familiar and then they don't grow. And then they stay put where they are. Right, so that would be what he does, and then let's go to the mind, like even a little bit deeper here. So this energy is what's this energy about? It's getting you to grow, and it's about reawakening your heart, right? Because what we did as children, right, from the 0 to 7, we all had our hearts broken. Just because I say this, we live in the hospital plane. This earth plane, right? So as little children, we got our hearts broken because we came in with open hearts, and then we're parented by people who got damaged and traumatized and had to shut down their hearts. Of course, it's going to happen to us too, right? So what it does when you have love coming at you, right? Because the universe is love, like. This is what's trying to reach us, is love, is unconditional love. That's what's moving through us. It's moving through us. This divine love is moving through us to reawaken that heart, to open up that heart again, right? But we come up against this, right? These stuck emotions from when we were children. These unintegrated emotions, they're like emotional memories. There's no stories, 0 to 7, there's no stories. It's just about emotional memory. So we come up against that, right? Because this needs to be felt. This wasn't felt when we were children, right? Because we weren't developmentally, we didn't have that ability, right? Our emotional body wasn't mature then. To handle those emotions, so they had to get shut down, right? So what happens here is love's moving to open up that heart, and then your patterns kick in. Your emotional pattern kicks in, and that's the shut down that heart. Keep that heart shut down, and then immediately move. This can happen within seconds, so we have to have compassion for ourselves. Right? So then it moves straight in. You move straight into the mind and the ego. And the ego, what's the ego saying? Basically, stay in the head. Don't feel what this is. Do not feel. Stay in the head with me. Right? That's what ego says. And control the situation. Which could be like controlling that other person that's bringing up those feelings. Right? But the thing is, those feelings, the stuck emotions, they're there anyway. It has nothing to do with this other person or situation. They're just messengers, right, that are bringing up these stuck emotions to be purified. Right? So the mind, the ego is like, I got to control the situation. I have to control the situation. I have to control that person. So, but what you're really trying to control is those, I want to keep those emotions down. I want to keep those, keep from feeling. I need to keep in my head. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting to live like that. And people are going to realize that more and more, especially since this train is really going to start to move this year really, really fast. And that we're not going to be able to control our emotions like we used to. The drugs aren't going to work, right? The alcohol's not going to work. All the distractions will no longer work. It's just too big. The energy is just too big. So this isn't going to work, right? So this is what the ego will tell you, is to evade, right? Distract, lie. The ego will get you to lie. I'm fine. Everything's great. What are you talking about? I don't feel that. There's something wrong with you. What do you mean you're angry and this? And that's just you, right? I'm fine. Everybody else is fine, right? If you were brought up in a dysfunctional family, right, that you would have experienced this. This is the gaslighting. Everybody's fine. It's just you. You have the problem, right? And you can rely on your emotions right now. Your emotions aren't going to lie to you, but this ego will, right? So puts you out of integrity, makes you emotionally dishonest, right? So the ego is all about get the focus off of me. Get the focus off of me. Distract, deflect, run away, right? Avoid this. Avoid these messengers. And listen, you could run off to an island, a deserted island. You can't run away from yourself. You can't run away from those emotions. Some bird, this is the beauty of the universe and the divine. The divine wants you to heal. The divine wants you to feel unconditional love for yourself again. The divine wants you to open up your heart again to be in your power. It's going to come through a bird. It will come through an animal. It will come through a tree, right? The universe is trying to reach you with divine love. And like poor us. Oh my God, I have to love myself in this lifetime. Poor me. Right? When you look at it like that, like look at our ancestors, what they had to go through, right? Having to get the club out and beating animals just to stay alive and trying to get food, right? We have the great responsibility of loving ourselves unconditionally in this lifetime. So this is the kind of shenanigans that the ego gets up to keep you from love. That's all that's happening right here. So what do you need here is the gap, right? You need the gap. What I talk about is the gap. And that's to put some distance between you and that ego. And this is meditation. You need a spiritual practice right now. Whatever that is for you, that thing that you do every single day that makes you feel like you, where you just feel relaxed, your mind isn't going crazy, you're just being, where you're just being, no conditions attached whatsoever, right? And then you've got this relationship with your mind and your ego. Instead of this, right, where there's no gap there. You believe that you're your ego. You believe that voice in your head is you. You're making decisions from that place. Like I said before, he's the worst life coach in the world, is this ego. Because he's got you headed for annihilation, right? Just complete destruction, taking you away from your creativity, taking you away from that divine love. Because that's what happens when divine love comes in. The ego starts to dissolve, right? And that's what we have to do to get into this spirit awareness. We can't take him. We don't need him. A lot of New Age teachings, no, you need your ego to survive. It's not true. The ego is a parasite, and you're the host. The host doesn't need the parasite. The parasite needs the host. And we just have to get used to living in this new state of consciousness, which is without ego, without mind, and we can survive just fine without ego and mind, right? So don't listen to the psychological mind, of course, because we live in the mind of God. So we need this relationship, right? And then we got the gap, and then we're not going to listen to this. You'll be able to oh, look at my ego telling me this is bad and wrong and dangerous and uncomfortable and harmful and evil, and the person's lying and something's off about this. That's when I wonder what this is all about, right? And whenever that's happened to me, it's because some amazing opportunity is coming towards me, right? That's what it's been in my experience. Some amazing person is entering my life, right? That's going to fast track my growth and evolution, and vice versa. The ego doesn't want these kind of connections coming together, right? Wants us stuck in fear, that we don't grow, that we're like little scared bunnies running back to the familiar, right? Afraid of our power. So, what was I going to say? So relationships, right? I think that the ego and the worm tongue, he's a polygamist. He's got a lot of brides, doesn't he? I think he has almost 8 million brides on this planet. A lot of people are married to their egos. And it looks like, no, they're married to other people. No. If you look at the essence of that marriage, it's 2 egos together. That's why there's so much conflict, right? And fighting, and disharmony with most relationships. It's because the ego, right? Repel. So what we want to move into, and this is our choice right now, because this is the relationship year, right? Enlightenment is 2 by 2. It's not 1 by 1 anymore. It's 2 by 2. We're entering into unity consciousness. We've got to start to unify with at least one other person on the planet. Pets don't count, right? Because your pet doesn't have an ego, right? So these relationships are coming together. So it's like, are you going to run down the aisle with worm tongue, right? Or are you going to run down the aisle with your soul now? This is the choice that we're making. And this is where we have to be married to our soul first, and then the other person who's married to their soul, right? The 1 + 1 = 11, not the 1 + 1 = 2. So what are you going to choose, right? What are you going to choose? Ego's all about the past. Ego's going to start making promises. Well, this person has a really good job. They make a lot of money. I could survive, right? Or they've got a nice title, or they got a nice hot body. This is looking short-term thinking. You got to look long-term thinking now. This is the trickery of the ego, right? You got to go here first, and then you're in your power, and you're going to make really good decisions for yourself when you're here. Because you're going to listen to your intuition. Your intuition knows what's best for you, not that ego or your mind, right? That's where all your intelligence is. Your heart knows the best. Your heart knows, but way better than the mind, right? The mind is all about the past, and we're not going back to the past. It's over, right? It's over. We should have a funeral. For 2020 is when it all started to shift, and it's just going to continue to shift, right? Especially up until 2027, we're going to see a lot more change. Oh, I really like this. I posted this on my social media pages. This is the thinking, the back and forth, the duality where you get nowhere. It's like you're caught in time and space. That's what thinking does. I'm going to think. I'm going to figure all this out. We can't operate like this anymore. This is the mental awareness system, right? We need creative answers, creative solutions now. We need to be tapped into our intuition. Our intuition knows best, and our logical mind's not going to understand sometimes. Why? I remember making decisions well, I've been following my intuition for quite a while now, but sometimes like, what? My intuition will say something. It's like, that makes no sense at all, but okay, I made the commitment to obey my intuition. And I follow through, and then in hindsight, it's like, I'm so happy I listened to my intuition, because this happened that I could not foresee with my mind. But your intuition can, and your higher self can seize your destiny and the trajectory you're on. It knows best. So it's time to start trusting your intuition. 100% on everything is trust your intuition. Because this is just stuckness. It's just going to keep you stuck. Analysis paralysis right there, right? And then the doing, this has to come from inspired action, right? It has to come from your intuition. But the doing, it's the take. That's the language of the Aquarian age now, is action, right? So it's about being the living truth, being the embodiment of truth in action. That's what we're here to do now, right? Is to act. Okay, we've had like the 60s, in the 1960s, that was the big inhale of the Aquarian age. You could see things were seeded then in the 60s, right? And now is the exhale. And this means this is the expression of what was seeded in the 60s, right? It's like bringing it into the material plane, right? Heaven on earth right here. And letting go of this Titanic, like saying goodbye to this Titanic that's going down. It's totally going down. Little g's going down. Our educational system, medical system, financial, legal, religious, marriage, military, police, it's all going down. It's sinking to the bottom. And then this new is being created right now. So this is why you need to be the 1/8, right? Find out what your contribution is by listening, right? Listening to your intuition, listening to your heart. And it's going to be something you really enjoy doing. That's the great thing about it. It's not like a punishment. You have to do this. It's going to come from deep inside you, and it's going to be something it's already there. The gift is already inside you. It's just trusting and loving yourself, right? Allowing that to come surface. Okay. And of course, you'll be supported, right? You'll be supported in that. So this is the layers of awareness that we're moving through, right? The physical. All of us are aware of the physical, and then the mental, and then the emotional, and then the frequency, right? So we have to go through the emotional, through this awareness, right, to frequency. And that's this spirit awareness right here. Okay? So there's lots to say about triggers, but it's just, get in the gap. When you're emotionally triggered, get in the gap. Don't listen to him trying to blame everybody. They're why I feel so bad. It's them. It's like, go inside, because they didn't create those emotions within you. They've been in you since you were 2, 3, 4 years old, whenever that trauma took place. Okay. And then you feel it, right? And then you're in this space. You're expanding, constantly expanding when each trigger comes to you, right? And you own it, you take responsibility for it, and you emotionally mature. You keep maturing and expanding. And then, right, into spirit awareness. That's the goal. Okay. So we'll go into some cards for the types. So this full moon expect some triggering. Expect some high emotions, the high emotional states. Okay. So I just wanted to check the comments before we. Okay. Satnam, Gretchen, Sky King, Aloha, Lisa, Satnam. Massachusetts, Corruption, Satnam. Jeanette, Satnam from New Jersey. Heather, Generator, Aquarius, right on Texas. Robert from Nova Scotia, Splenic Manifestor 1-3. Emo Generator, Emotional Generator, Jen Goodwin from Vancouver Island. Bradley from Oklahoma. Jeanette's a Manifesting Generator, MG. Each Jen Goodwin asks, what does programming partner mean? It means that every one of these gates has a programming partner. They work together. So it's like the polarity, right? You've got Scorpio and Taurus, right? They're the opposite of one another. And you can't really look at one without the other. So it's the same with the gates and the gene keys. Right, so each one has, so there's 32 pairs, right, because there's 64 hexagrams. So you can really work with the two of them together. Makes sense, right? We live in a plane of duality. Okay, Satnam C.A. Patterson. Okay, Satnam Teresa. Okay. So let's start off with one of the types. So, where's the types here? So there's the types. You know what? I couldn't find any images with manifesting generator on them. But they have the same aura. But I'm going to do a reading for each one, though. So we've got the manifester. This is 10% of the world. They have a closed and repelling aura. And they're here to receive divine guidance, right, from the divine, here's the idea, and then the manifestor shares the idea, here's what I'm going to do, and then they initiate, and then they manifest. So that's 10% of the world. Everybody, all the other types want to be a manifestor except the manifestor, right? And then there's the generator. This is 70% of the world, so 35, manifesting generator and generator. The two of them make up 70%. They've got the open and enveloping aura. And they've got the sacral. You can see that little red square there. That's where all the life force energy is. So they're the builders and the creators of this world. And then the reflectors are resistant and sampling. They're only 1% of the population. They're here for the group. They're like a barometer of the group health. And then the projector, that's me, focused and absorbing, right? Meditate. We're not all open and enveloping and fuzzy and warm. We're like laser beam out. Yeah, then we're here to guide. So what we do, generators have to respond with a yes or no from their sacral. So they respond to life. And then projectors need to be invited. They need to be recognized and then invited. And then the reflectors are welcomed in too. But it's always a group. The reflectors really belong in a group. Okay, so let's start off. That's just in a nutshell. Okay, of these types. And so this, human design can really teach us and help us and support us in moving through these crazy times that we're in right now. Okay, so let's do the overlays. I gotta keep my focus here. Has anybody noticed that their senses are more heightened? My sense of smell has been off the roof. Especially today. I feel like I got a bionic nose. I can just smell it. And now I know, I guess, how a dog feels. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not a dog. Just my senses are really, really heightened. And more sensitive, too, if you feel like electric, like you have your finger in a socket, that kind of feeling. That's Uranus, is affecting our nervous system and also affecting our brains and our neurons too, because we're all getting the upgrades. Okay, so let's get here the overlays, and we'll start off with the generators. Generators. So the generators are here to respond with their navel, with the yes or the no, and they're here to feel fulfilled in the work that they do. And when they're not feeling fulfilled, they're feeling frustrated because they're responding. They're responding or reacting. They're more like reacting, not responding. Reacting with their mind. And that's when you're making the ego and mind the authority. Of course, that gets you into trouble. So let's see what the generators have to know for this full moon, or leading up to the full moon. So with generators, it's important that you remain calm, so that you can listen to your sacral. If that means getting off on your own for a little bit to really tune into your sacral and not your mind. And remember, the mind has to obey the breath. So you slow down your breath. You feel your belly, right? And then you respond. It's great too if you've got a partner or a friend that you trust and get them to ask you a yes or no question. If you're really confused and it's like, oh, I'm so stuck in my mind and I'm back and forth, get your friend to ask you after you've calmed yourself down, right? And you're fully in your body. You know, do you want that job? Do you want to go this new career path, generator, or not? Uh-oh. I'm going to try something new because I'm going to revamp my ego cards. I got to practice on you guys. These are my guinea pigs. There's some tweaks I want to make. I want to make them more action-oriented. Okay. Okay, we'll do one of these. So what is the generator? What's that shadow? What's up for the generator? This one. Oh, I love it. So you got the Empress card. That's the Empress card. There's glare there. There we go, the Empress. Little angel, right? With the little baby. Yeah, and Venus, the sign Venus. So the Empress is like the mother. It kind of has that mother energy in the traditional tarot deck. It's about creation. It's about abundance. Creation and abundance. So the Empress attracts, right? The Empress is beautiful, right? The Empress is the divine feminine, one of the divine feminine, the archetype of the divine feminine. So generators, it's very feminine, isn't it? The generator aura, because it's attracting everything to it, everything that you need to you, all those opportunities you're attracting to you. But the Empress, this is self-love. The Empress doesn't need anything, right? In the tarot deck, the Empress is very, very attractive, right? So attracts everything to her, and attracts and has everything that she needs and knows her value, right? So generators, you have to know your value, not to listen to this ego, right? Telling you that you have low self-worth. This is what the ego is telling us too. It's like, you're not worthy of love. You're not worthy of love, right? The Empress loves herself. So you have to know without a doubt that you deserve all good things, right? You deserve all the good things coming into your life, and to love yourself unconditionally. So this is about forgiveness, right? Forgiving yourself. And even if like, well, I don't know, I don't think I did anything wrong. Just do it anyway. Do it anyway. Forgive things that you have no idea that you needed forgiveness for. Right? You might as well. Yeah, the Empress. So this is about creating too. Creating, right? The Empress there is the ultimate creation is to create another human being as a mother. Yeah, so really being open to your intuition, to what needs to be created through you, like, right? Open to these opportunities. Because the thing is, when we're triggered, we can't see. Our perception is completely clouded. There could be like these amazing opportunities all around us, but if you're emotionally triggered and aren't doing your work, you're not going to see it. You're going to be very pessimistic, right? Yeah. And then I'm using the Gene Keys deck here for today. And look at this card. You got the 49, and that's the full moon. The full moon's in the 49. You can see revolution, that's the gift. In the city of rebirth. So yeah, it's echoing my whole message here of not reacting to your emotions, calming yourself down, you know? And that's not a good place to be responding from anyway, is when you're emotionally triggered. Wait till you're calmed down, where you can really like feel into your sacral. And this is an opportunity too for generators, is to have an emotional rebirth. This is the real revolution that I talked about. The revolution is not about running out and getting on the streets with your placards, right? Screaming up and down at the top of your lungs in a group. That's not the revolution. That's not going to create change, right? Real change happens from within, right? Each person, this is where the revolution takes place, is inside each individual. And then it's reflected on the external. That's trying to control the external without going to the source of the problem, right? So allow this rebirth to happen for you, this full moon, and get into this Empress energy. That's what's hot. That's what's keeping love, divine love from you, is these emotions are covering it all up. Those emotions from your childhood are covering up this Empress energy, right, of self-love. Okay. Oh, and Venus, yeah. And let's just scoot down here to Venus, because the Empress is ruled by Venus, and so is the North Node in Taurus. That's the shadow of distraction, so don't allow yourself to get distracted, right? Yeah, for this full moon. There's many, many distractions that are coming, yeah. Okay, that's for generators, the message for generators. Yeah. And generators, if you haven't watched the beginning, watch the beginning, because that totally applies to you. Okay. Let's go for manifesting generators. Here. See what they got. Yeah, Jen Goodwin's being very hard on herself. Yeah. So the Empress is great. And if you can't go there, if you need some kind of form, it's like meditate on the divine mother to nurture you and love you. You can pretend that you're that little baby, right, in the lap of the divine mother, to love yourself. Okay, let's go for manifesting generators. And not to go, for generators, not to go into that space of pessimism, you know, that we're powerful creators. We're remembering that. We're remembering who we really are during this time. Right? What kind of world do you want to create? What kind of world do you want to see for your children and your grandchildren and future generations of humanity? Okay, what do we got for the manifesting generators? Who also have to respond to life with a yes or no. But they need a lot more patience than G's. Okay. For this full moon. They just have to slow down. The manifesting generators have to slow down. What do the manifesting generators need to hear? Yeah. They got 2 cards. So just while I'm doing the shadows, so you got the 7 of Earth, which is the 7 of Pentacles. That's about where you want to invest. What do you want to invest your energy in? You know, you got to look at your energy manifesting generators as a currency. Imagine your energy, that sacral energy, as a currency. And think of the things that you do with that energy. And then before you respond, I mean, that's a good question to ask yourself. It's like, would I pay money to do this? Because really, that's what you're doing. You're paying with your energy, right? Would I pay money to do this or not? Look at it like that. This is about valuing yourself and your energy. Okay. And what's the shadow pattern here for the manifesting generators? And having patience too, that's funny. The 7 of Pentacles is also about patience. Waiting for things to grow. We have to wait for things to grow. Okay. What do we got for the manifesting generators? Okay. Oh, that's good. Yeah, Pluto's in the 60. So you got the 7 of Earth. You can see he's a farmer, the 7 of Pentacles, which I've been talking about, right? Looking at the tree. Waiting for it to grow, right? The tree to bear fruit. And then you've got the King of Fire, the King of Wands, right there by the tree with the wand. To me, this represents the manifesting generator, right? That King of Wands. Just ready to go, right? The King of Wands, the traditional, he's on the horse and he's like ready to go. The horse is up in the air and it's ready. Action time. Go, go, go. That's the manifesting generator. So innovative, inspirational, but it's also to say to have patience. So to me, it's like, yes, you can, because the manifesting generator is like a hybrid of the manifestor and the generator. That once they respond correctly, they can manifest really, really quickly, manifesting generators, but their response has to come from a yes, right, from their navel. And they can go, 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 and they can make things happen. That's why they can get caught up in this, well, I'm a manifester. It's like, no, you got to go to your sacral first, right, to know that it's correct for you, for your aura type. And then to me, it's like to really question what you're investing in, what you're investing your energy in, right? It's not because the King of Fire wants to go, like, we'll figure all that out later. Let's just go, 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 because they got a lot of energy, right? Life force energy. And they got a lot to do in this lifetime. There's a lot of work to be done to build this new earth. So this is about having patience with your sacral. Maybe have a little bit of patience of like, oh, that opportunity, it's like my navel was saying no, and I can see that it wasn't quite right, but maybe another one's not going to come. That's when the mind gets in there. Maybe another opportunity will never come. I better take it, right? I better just go with the King of Wands, right? And then it's incorrect for you, and then you're backtracking, and you wasted a lot of energy, and your energy is money. So it's like you just like dumped a pile of money and flushed it down the toilet. You don't want that. Right? You want to be patient, right? Patient with the process. And then know that your aura will attract the right opportunities for you that are perfect for you. Yeah. And then it's going to grow. Your work will grow into a tree. I love that quote about, I can't remember it verbatim, but basically, that to plant a tree now and knowing that you won't enjoy the shade of it, right? That's the true definition of philanthropy, right? Compassion, consideration for others, right? That you're not going to be able to enjoy it, but you're doing the work so others can enjoy it. That's what the 7 of Earth is saying, right? And then you've got the 61 in the gene keys here, and that's inspiration. The 61 comes off the crown chakra there, and it's the shadow of psychosis. And this is about, and sanctity is the city. So this is about being weary of worshiping others, because the 61 is about worship of other people, putting other people on a pedestal, putting others before your own navel energy. That's what the mind says to do. Well, they're expert. They got a bunch of letters behind their name. They've got this, they've got that. They know better than you, manifesting generator, right? And they're saying this is the right way. So you give all your energy to them, right? You give all your energy, all your money to them, right? Because your energy is your money. And so it's saying to be weary of that, manifesting generator, and wait for the inspiration, right? So you're responding to something that's going to be very, very inspiring. And what's inspiring is filled with spirit. You'll know it. Your navel will totally know it when it attracts it to you. Right? This is future oriented. Yes, I feel really good about investing my time and energy into this project. Right? And then you're going to meet your like-minded folks, your soul allies, everything will be there for you, right? It's going to be a good investment, and it's the material realm, because it's earth, right? 7 of Earth. So it's going to be something on the material. That's what I see. That's very good. And you too will become an inspirational figure, just because the King of Fire is here too. So that works for you, being an inspiration. And there's nothing more beautiful than seeing somebody on purpose, eh? They're living their purpose. They're on fire. They're filled with spirit. They're inspirational because they're filled with spirit. Yeah. And that inspires others, right? To be following their 1-8, right? Their contribution that they're here for on this planet. That's good for the MGs. Okay, let's just put these away. Okay, the manifesting generators. And then let's go for the reflectors. The reflectors. There was a reflector on last week. Yeah. Jen Goodwin says, I will do that. Feel disassociated from the Divine Mother. Yeah. That's a sign that you probably need some of that energy. Okay. Patience. Okay, the reflectors. The group barometers that have to follow the cycles of the moon. Let's see what we've got for the reflectors. So you're going to really be reflecting the moon, reflectors. So you got to watch that shadow of reaction. Remember that the reflectors have to be surprised by life and by people in their life. That's when they know they're operating correctly. When they're disappointed, that's when they're not operating correctly. They're trying to be manifestors, they're trying to be generators, and not themselves. So the moon waxes and wanes, right? The reflector has no colors in that chart, no colors for the reflector, but they're going to have this, right? They'll have this transit, this 1-8. So you can use it. It's just knowing like, oh, I'm getting definition because the reflector has no definition. And then suddenly they got the throat and the G center defined. Well, you can use that, but it's just knowing that, oh, that's not me. right? When this transit goes, then this energy will leave for me, but I can use it to make a contribution. Okay. That's Scorpio and Taurus together. Okay, the reflector. That's no surprise. So the reflector got the Four of Swords. And this is about recuperating. It's about contemplating. It's about meditation. It's about chilling and relaxing and thinking about things. Taking it easy. And then you've got the Ace of Pentacles, which is an opportunity, some kind of on the material realm. So it's an opportunity. So it's saying to relax, reflectors, to relax and to trust that an opportunity is coming. Oh, interesting. Okay, so there's the Four of Swords, and you can see the little kid chilling out on the beach blanket. And then the Ace of Earth, another little child, right there. So aces are always new beginnings. So opportunities are coming, right? Resources are coming, material resources, in case you're worried about resources. But you just have to relax. There's no action card here, none whatsoever. And this even reiterates that. This is orientation, which I talked about in the last video. This is the magnetic monopole, the timeline. This is the 2 that's already activated. It's in the North Node. So this is saying that your magnetic monopole is going to be leading you, drawing into you what you need. And it's going to bring some kind of material opportunity for you. Abundance. It's the first step to abundance, the Ace of Earth. And then the 2, the shadow of the 2, is believing that you're lost, right? So it's like listening to this, right? You're lost. You're not in the right place. You're in the wrong place, right? You'll never find your place, right? You'll never find your place. You'll never find your people. You'll never find your correct soul purpose, job, all that BS the ego is telling you. And that this is saying no. The gift is orientation, right? So it's about relaxing, reflectors, recuperating. Maybe you've gone through a stressful time, right? As a reflector, trying to be your not self. It's exhausting to try to be who you're not, right? It's effortless to just be yourself. That's the easy way. And we're going to see this more and more as we go into the Aquarian age. It's going to be exhausting to repress all those emotions, right? It's going to be exhausting to I've got to pretend that I'm somebody that I'm not to get love, right? Something that I learned from my parents in my childhood. And the thing with this emotional body, that it creates a personality. Do you see that? That little tiny tot, 0 to 7, went through some kind of traumatic experience. And then what gets created is this other personality, and it's coming out of the emotional body. And then it takes over your life, right? Because the child just wants unconditional love. That's all the child wants, is unconditional love, and didn't get it, right? Most children don't get that unconditional love. The child is inside the adult, still there looking for that unconditional love, and then has this personality in front of it. Well, this is how I got love, which was all conditional from their parents. So it's going to work. It's going to work. These are the roles that we take on. Well, this is how I got love from my parents. I wasn't authentic. I wasn't true. There were all these conditions. I had to look this way. I had to dress this way. I couldn't say this, but I could say that. All these rules and conditions, and then I got love from my parents, and that's not real love at all. And then you run out in the world as an adult, and then you're still playing this role, wearing this mask, trying to get that love, right, that you didn't get from your parents. So this is saying to drop that, reflectors. Drop all of that, right? that everything you need is coming to you. You just have to relax and let go, right? It will come to you. Magnet, right? It's magnetism. It's the two. And this is unity. This is the feminine way. This is the feminine way to relax. And you're ruled by the moon anyway. And that's the feminine. The moon in ancient yogic teachings represents the feminine. So just go with the moon. A good thing to do as a reflector too is to keep track of the moon. You can get, there's lots of apps and stuff you can get. And keep a journal, like a moon journal. Oh, the moon went into Taurus today. How was I feeling? And just take notes, right? About how you're feeling. Because you'll change. You're going to change with the moon. So this is just to relax into your type. And that you'll be materially supported with that. That's good. Good for the reflectors. I don't think there's any reflectors. If there's ever any reflectors, I want you to put your name in the comment box because you're so rare. There's only 1% of the world that are reflectors. Okay. Let's go for the manifester who's here to initiate and get some balls rolling. And then we know C.A. Patterson's a manifester. Okay. This is about divine inspiration. So when the manifestor's not operating correctly, they feel angry. They deal with anger or they get depressed. And remember how shadow works. If you don't own it, what are you talking about? I'm not angry. Well, if you're surrounded by angry people, then it's a reflection of you. I remember learning that for the first time because I dealt with depression a lot when I was a teenager and then in my 20s. I ran from it with sports. Like sports really helped with depression, but I was addicted to athletics because I was running from that depression. When I learned that spiritual teaching, it's like, what are you talking about? It's not, I'm not angry, I'm depressed. And it's all these people around me because I was surrounded by angry people. And then I got it. It's like, oh, they're reflecting my unintegrated emotions, my own anger. Soon as I owned it and took responsibility for it and started working on it, right, feeling it and integrating it, all those angry people disappeared. Because it's like attracts like. Frequency attracts frequency. So you got to look at who's around you. Are they angry people? Then you got to look at your own anger that's unintegrated. Or if they're depressed people, yeah, right? The world is our emotional mirror. Okay, but when the manifestor is operating correctly, receiving divine inspiration and sharing, inform, overshare manifestors, and then initiate, then peace comes. Peaceful environment, peaceful mind. Doesn't mean your life's boring. It just means you're in this frequency of peace. That's when you know you're doing it right as a manifestor. So it's time to not be ignoring your intuition anymore, manifestors. It's exhausting, right? If your intuition's screaming at the top of its lungs to you, right? In your sleep, waking you up out of your sleep, screaming it, and you're still ignoring it, it's going to be exhausting. Because we can't fight that love, right, that's coming to us, trying to reach us. Okay. Yeah. But the fear of the manifestor is if they'll be rejected, right? They have to deal with fear of rejection. And that's the 49 as well. The big fear with the full moon is rejection. Or that they won't be heard. Okay. see here. What do the manifestors need to hear? What do the manifestors need to hear? What does the manifestor need to hear? That's way too many. Okay. I can feel the jumper. So I have to wait for jumpers. They jump out of the deck. The manifestor is hiding. What does the manifestor need to hear? Manifestors don't like to be told what to do. Okay. You'll notice with your aura manifestors, you're pushing energy. You're always moving energy. That can be triggering for people because they think you're trying to take over wherever you go. Right? She's after my job. She's trying to like run the place. That you have to take responsibility is what I'm trying to say, that of the power that you hold on this planet. Goodness me. Okay, manifestor. Patience. There we go. There we go. There we go. You got the wheel. You see that? The wheel. OSP. That's a major arcana card. It's all the little angels all in a row. So the wheel is all about moving forward. Moving forward. It's luck. This is blessings, right? So when you initiate whatever whatever divine inspiration you're receiving these days, this is saying that luck is on your side, right? Whatever is coming through, you're going to manifest, right? You're going to manifest. That's what the wheel is saying. It's about change, right? Change. So this is a really good luck card to have, is the wheel. Luck, progress, change. And then another major arcana. And this is justice. Justice. So this is saying that you possibly have gone through some kind of karmic experience, some kind of karmic lesson. It could have been with a relationship that you've had or some kind of situation that you were in, right? But the wheel is saying it's over. Right? This is like a completion thing. And now the karma has turned. It's all positive now. You're paid in full. Justice card is like karma paid in full. Rip up that contract. Right? Null and void now. So fairness. So things are coming into balance for you. Now, so if you've been like through a dark night of the soul period as a manifestor, then this is saying that the light is here, and whatever you want to initiate and manifest, it's going to happen. So just use your strategy, right? Inform, share. I don't know what to share. We'll overshare. Just share. And I know that's challenging for the manifestor, but that lessens the resistance when you share. The energetic resistance starts to dissolve. And then it's easy for you to move that energy, right? Move that energy forward. Well, that's good news for the manifestor. And it took a little while to get out. And let's see what the gene key card is for the manifestor. And not to fear rejection, right? Because the 49, the full moon, and that's the fears of rejection. right? Manifestors have that fear. When I share, will that be received? Will people hear that? And then will I manifest, or will this get rejected? And that's all the ego telling you that, to keep you from your power. So green lights. The green lights are on now for the manifestors. Oh, did one flip? Yes. Oh. Okay. Okay. I gotta check something. It's funny whenever I get up here. It's because I've got an open head and open ajna. Something happens to me all the time. So I just want to double check something because I don't want to be giving people wrong information. And I have no ego about needing to double check things. Okay. I know what it is, but I just want to double. Yeah, I know it. See, I knew that, but I just needed to double check. So you got two manifestors. So you got the grace card, 22. This is a beautiful card, 22. And this is dishonor. It's the shadow of dishonor. It's the gift of graciousness, and then the city of grace. And then the 63, this is doubt, the shadow of doubt. It's up here in the head, right? I always get lost with these three, 63, 61, 64, because they're like so out of reach for me. Because they're, above the mind, or the mental pressure center. So doubt is the gift of curiosity, and it's the city of truth. So this is saying don't dishonor yourself. And how you would dishonor yourself as a manifestor is to deny your gift and deny your power. And you know what it's like? It's like spitting in God's face. That's what you're doing when you're like, nah, I can't manifest. I'm too small for that. That's not me. I'm a generator. I just have to respond to things. It's like, no, you're here to initiate and you're here to manifest. You're very, very powerful type, right? 10% of the planet are manifestors. So you don't want to dishonor yourself. That's how you dishonor yourself, by denying the power that you have, right? So if you were brought up in a childhood where I can't, to talk well about yourself. Oh, you're bragging. You're too big for your britches, right? And put down by your parents or your siblings. Like Cinderella, right? I think of the Cinderella story, right? That this can come up for you as a manifestor. Well, I can't show my power because I'll get shamed and ridiculed and put down like I was when I was a child, right? This is all childhood stuff, emotional childhood stuff. So remember that you're dishonoring yourself when you do that. That's what this shadow is. And then the 22, the gift is of grace. So when you're in your power as a manifestor and forming, initiating, manifesting, you're in this power of grace, right? This subtle energy that's moving through everything, right? It's like you're a custodian. That's the word I'm looking for. You're a custodian of this energy of grace, right? Because you're manifesting for humanity. You're not just manifesting for yourself. You're not going to be given a divine, not now in the Aquarian age, given some divine inspiration. And it's just going to be just for you. No, it's going to be for the world. It's going to impact lots and lots of people. And don't listen to this. Well, how's that going to work? You're getting this divine inspiration to go towards this person. Well, that's just you and your own selfishness. You don't know. That's the thing, right? This is the dishonor. You're dishonoring yourself when you listen to the ego. You don't know. You're God's employee. You just have to obey your intuition. You don't know where it's going to lead, but you just have to trust 100%. But I guarantee you it's going to impact lots and lots and lots of people, because you're here to impact lots of people, right? And then you've got the 63, and this is doubt. Doubt. And this is the home of him, you know? He creates doubt. Look, persuades you to feel fear, doubt, confusion. That's the shadow, is doubt. So to move out of that is not to listen to this, right? Not to listen to it. Feel whatever is underneath that, right? Because there's going to be an emotional charge with this full moon. Emotional charge that's underneath this doubt, right? Just feel it, and it's probably going to be fear. That's all it is. It's going to be all fear of rejection. I'm feeling I feel like there's, I'll get rejected. I won't be heard, right? I won't manifest. I won't get what I want to manifest, what God wants me to manifest. So really, the easy way here is to get into this state. This is personally impersonal, you know? You're not attached. It's like my intuition is saying to do this, right? I'm just going to inform, and I'm going to initiate, right? And then I'm going to manifest. So have a curiosity. That's the gift, a curiosity. And it's truth. It's the city of truth. So you're aligned with the power of truth. Remember, I talked about this in my last video, right? Be in alignment with the truth. Yeah, in grace, and manifest. And everything's looking good. Everything's looking good for the manifestors. So get the balls rolling, manifestors. Whatever's coming through, right? Just start sharing, right? Don't let that ego stop you, right? Because it's going to help all of us, all of humanity. That's what I see for the manifestors. Yeah. I asked myself that question the other day, you know, like, how would I act if I knew that everything was covered? Like, everything's covered by 100% by the divine. Everything's covered, all my material needs, my food and shelter, my clothing, everything I need. How would I act? How would you act? We'd act differently, wouldn't we? We'd be free. That's freedom. That's true freedom. Freedom from the mind, not relying on your mind for your fulfillment and your success and your peace and your surprise, right? So manifestors want to feel peace. That's how you feel peace. Start informing, start initiating, start manifesting. That's where you feel peace. Everything you're longing for. Okay. And then finally, the projector. The projectors. The projectors who are here to feel successful. They need to be recognized for their gifts and talents, or the guides, and then they're here to be invited. Guiding the energy. Organizing people. We're really good at that too. So it's not just about the projector recognizing, getting recognized. It's also, we have the gift of recognizing others. Yeah. I was a co-founder of a men's yoga camp, Kundalini yoga camp, back in 2005. Was that first? Did that for a couple of years as a co-founder. And I really, this is when I started studying human design. I was really operating as a projector. I just wanted to test it out. And I noticed I was really good at pinpointing people's gifts, like what they truly wanted to do, what they were passionate about, not what they, because sometimes you can be good at something, but you don't really enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? But I noticed that I was recognizing people, and that was such a beautiful experience. Like, it was just effortless how that whole, camp came together, you know, and it was a big job, but it didn't seem like it as a projector. So we're here to recognize other people, recognize their gifts, because we can see people. We can see their gifts and their passions and who they really are, their essence, you know. And that one jumped out. So you got the moon card. So that means some subconscious fears are going to be coming up for this full moon. See if we get another card here, because that one came out. Ooh. So you got the moon card. You can see her with the coyotes, the guardian of the subconscious mind, right, with the two pillars. That angel. So this is about what's hidden, what's been hidden in the subconscious mind. So remember, the subconscious mind is the recorder of all of our actions, deeds, and words. It's the recorder. It's so this is when we die, right? When we die, the soul leaves with the subtle body and the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind gets downloaded. This is when you hear people say, "I saw my life flash before my very eyes." That's the subconscious mind, right? So everything's recorded. So all of our fears are recorded there too. So that's what the moon is saying, that there's maybe some deep fears that you're not aware of. But something that was hidden is going to come to light. Because it's been an illusion. Because you can't see what's in there, right? With the moon, when it's dark. Makes you very intuitive too. So maybe more intuitive. But maybe the source of some trigger, some pattern, right? Because of the 49, some pattern you've been in, projectors, and you don't know where it's coming from, it's going to come into light. Okay, let's see here. And then you got the Knight of Cups, the Knight of Water. You can see him in the flowers. This is Mr. Romantic. It's romance. It's a romantic offer. So this would be like an invitation. So if you're a woman, maybe you want the Queen of, or no, the Knight of Water. If you're into men, right? And if you're into women, whoever you are, then you can be the Queen of Water. That can be the Queen of Water for you. Let's switch that up. Okay, that's way too many. So an invitation that's coming, that's been hidden with the moon, but it could bring up some fear. So I would watch projectors. I would watch this kind of talk. Bad, wrong, dangerous, uncomfortable, harmful lies, all the nonsense that the ego is telling you. And go inside as a projector, right? Feel your energy. Are you being recognized? Are you being lit up, energetically lit up? Your aura will tell you if it's a good invitation or a bad one. Because there can be fears that come up with the projectors, because we take people in so deeply as projectors that we really have to be careful. The kind of people that we invite, the kind of people that invite us into their lives, you know, because we can get into these cycles, 7-year cycles. Okay, and there's the gene key. Right there, self-assurance, 20. So this is presence. So this is about being present, right? being present. So that means being in the present moment, not lost in the mind. And when you're listening to the ego, you're not in the present moment. You're in the mind. As soon as you're in the mind, you're not here. Right? So not getting caught up in superficiality, because that's the shadow pattern. So this would be superficiality. Right? Because look, remember the relationship between the ego and this. The ego is very, very small. This is superficiality, when you're just skidding on the surface of life, just looking at things logically. Presence, when you're present, right? When you're present in your body, like fully present, I'm fully here, I'm not lost in the thoughts of the mind, I'm not lost in my emotional state, I'm just here, I'm here, right? That you're able to see as a projector, because you got this laser beam aura here, right? That you can see right into the other, that you're going to see the presence in the other. When you're in your own presence, you can see them into the presence of the other. So it's like soul to soul, right? But you need to be you need to be present with yourself, and then you're able to perceive the other person beyond the form, beyond the superficial, right? This is what the solar plexus mutation is bringing us to. Is right into the spirit awareness. It's being able to look into the soul of the other. That's what that's saying. Not to get caught up in the superficial, like the superficial details of things. You know? This is divinity at work. That's what I see. And this gives you self-assurance. So this isn't little s self-assurance, because that's the ego. You're not relying on this. You're relying on this, the big higher self, the self. That's self-assurance. That's what I'm relying on here, right? Because it's going to bring up fears, and you don't want the fears to drag you away from an opportunity. That's what I see. And is there any projectors here? Generators. I thought I saw a projector. Lisa, Scorpio in projector. And Gladys too. It's a projector. Gladys is, I'm the queen of the water. The queen of cups. That's good. Yeah. Okay. Okay, anything else to say about that? I think that's it. So that's good. That's good news too for the projectors. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, so if you liked the video, press like and put your comments down, and that helps me going. I'm double Leo. All I need is a thank you. Keeps me going. But I feel really called to continue this work, because we're really being pressured by time. So now's the time to act. Remember that when the pressure's on, act and the pressure will be off. That's one of the sutras for the Aquarian age, and that's going to get things moving in your life. And to really just let go of the past. Let go of the past. That means forgiving other people, forgiving yourself, not dragging these people on the train with you. You can't drag them on the train. You can't drag the past onto the train where we're headed, you know, in this new age of Aquarius. And so I would say work on forgiveness and letting go. Even it's like, I've done all that work, Michael. I did it all. We'll do it again, right? Just do some prayers before the full moon is coming up. Maybe have a little ceremony on the full moon, because that's like the harvest time. Letting go is of the full moon. I'll remind people too as we come closer to it. And look at your patterns, your emotional patterns. Knowledge is power. And then you can see it. Oh, this is my trigger. Now I know my triggers. Because how do you heal that? How do you heal that? Let's go back here. Is this awareness. That's how you heal it. When you're in this space, this expanded space of awareness, you're able to see. You're able to see that ego, you know? You're able to see your emotional patterns. Let me get this off here so we can see that, right? So you're able to see your emotional patterns. This is all it takes, is just to see it, to witness it in action. Right? Like my example there is, oh, I'm triggered, and look at my mind. I'm triggered because I'm having thoughts like this. This is taking responsibility for your state of consciousness. Oh, I'm having the thoughts of like, this is bad and this is wrong, and I'm getting so judgmental, and I'm negative. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. I'm going to get in the gap, because I'm not going to shut down my heart anymore. I'm not going to shut it down anymore. I'm committed to keeping my heart open, right? This is how we're evolving. You've got to make that commitment. I'm going to commit to keep my heart open, even if everyone around me's got their heart closed down. I'm keeping mine open, because this is your power. Intuition, unity, authenticity, intelligence, it's all there, right? So when you see your patterns, then you can stop that from happening. You can stop the heart from shutting down, right? Because you're headed for this new species, and you're not going subhuman off the cliff with a lot of other people on that other train track they're on, right? So that's what I would say. It's like, start opening up your eyes and watching how you are in relationship with people. Our relationships are going to show us exactly where we're at in our relationship with the divine, right? It's an echo. Whatever is happening to you outside with people, bring it back to you in your relationship with the divine, right? So if people aren't listening to you, that means you're not listening to the divine, right? If people are ignoring you, then you're ignoring the divine, you're ignoring your intuition. It's all about bringing it back inside. And then you'll learn and evolve and grow. And why else are we here on the planet? We're here to grow and evolve. We're here to live our greatest life. We're here to be happy. We're here to be emotionally fulfilled. This is what we have to commit to, but it takes effort, right? It takes effort. So you might as well make the effort towards your, your spiritual work. Okay, everybody. So thank you for joining in. And I'll see you on Tuesday or Wednesday with 12 signs, and then we'll go deeper into this full moon, because there's lots more to talk about too. Okay? So Sat Nam Aloha.